when I first came to E10, it was rare to see someone on a bike, and it was practically never that you'd see a child on a bike that they could actually ride. You might see a child on a bike that was far too big for them, that they'd taken from their dad or something.
It's a fantastic spectacle when you see all those cows coming down the creek.
Camel derbies, goat derbies, I mean,
cycling ni sport tu kama sport ile nyingine. Kenya cycling ija grow like abroad.
Nilianza na Black Mamba. Naishi karibu na barabara huwa nilikuwa naona wakimbiaji wakipita, so nikatamani kwa join.
Cycling is not as popular in Kenya as comparing it to football. It's not a very popular sport. But yes, we receive a lot of cycling requests. I have a few in mind now. I have Cycle for the Rhino. Another event is Pedal-wise Cycling, who run for fun and keeping fit. By the end of the day, they also help with raising funds for heart surgeries, for children who have an issue raising funds. Kilimanjaro 723 Mountain Bike Challenge, that the event owners organized that event to raise funds to support the Amboseli ecosystem. We awarded the cyclists that participated in the event that were ranging from, I think, a 7-year-old all the way to professional cyclists, and it was a good to-do initiative.
When I first came to E10, it was rare to see someone on a bike, and it was practically never that you'd see a child on a bike that they could actually ride. You might see a child on a bike that was far too big for them, that they'd taken from their dad or something. We started working at Safaricom in 2017. The extra money that Safaricom brought on board allowed us to do more than we would normally have done. In 2018, Salim alishinda professional race in Dubai, na ilikuwa mara ya kwanza Mkenya ameshinda professional race ya cycling. Kariuki won a race, Andrew won a race, so it was nice to be in Europe, racing people from nations where cycling is much more established and getting some wins. It was also pretty special.
Safaricom ndio kwa tumeenda na sponsorship ya Europe. Hapo ndio hata nilishinda race yangu ya kwanza Europe.
Moments yenye nimefurahia sana ni kurace huko ng'ambo, na nimeweza kupatana na riders wa level lingine.
Kuna time tukienda Rwanda, tulikuwa vile cycling inaenda, saa zingine unakuwa na kitu inaitwa breakaway. Watu wanaenda na ikifaulu ni kwa mzuri sana, ikishikwa unarudi nyuma kabisa sababu umechoka, sababu ya hiyo nguvu. Tulikuwa Rwanda tukaweka watu watatu kwa hii group, so tumeenda ni kama tuseme tukiongea kama gambling, tumeenda all in, and then haikuenda vizuri, wakimezwa. Imekuwa siku mrefu baada ya hiyo. But hivyo ndio sport inakuanga, uko na siku yenye vitu zinaenda vile unataka ziende, siku nyingine haiendi vizuri, na una analyze, unatafuta mali shida imekuwa, na unatafuta solution, na unaanza tena.
Kenya's not a cycling culture, a country with a cycling culture, that's for sure. But also they have the opportunity to come here and race against the pros, and all of a sudden they take this opportunity and they really run with it.
We had one cyclist, Charles Kajimu, who was able to get a contract with Bike8, the same team that Salim is in. So that was a big success story also.
Venye maisha yangu yuko ni bike sahi. Kila kitu tuseme venye navaa, kitu chakula yenye nakula ni bike inanilisha hivyo. Hapo sasa hata nyumbani wakisema wako na shida fulani, maybe msaada yenye naweza wapea inatoka tu kwa cycling.
Wadogo wangu nimeweza kuwasaidia kwa peleka shule.
Huwezi kuja tu Kenya Riders hivi alafu useme nataka niendeshe bike. Unaanza mahali ndio uonekane bidii yako, una join races. Sema race imeandaliwa mahali fulani, unakuja venye umeperform, next kuja hivyo. The more una appear races mingi, performance yako ndio itakujaji.
At first walikuwa wakishtuka wameona watu wakiride ini kwenda kazi ama kujienjoy, hawajajua hii ni kitu yenye unaweza tengeneza maisha nayo. Lakini saizi wanaona tunaenda ng'ambo, tunarudi, tuko na kijana mdogo mmoja ashajijengea nyumba na pesa yenye ametengeneza kwa bike, so watu wameanza kujua hata kama hatujafika level ya mbio bado watu wanajua kumbe iko kitu kwa cycling hapa. But now you see kids with their own bikes, you see people playing on bikes, you see people riding socially, you see people like us training hard. So there's a good mix, there's a lot of cycling. It's no longer a strange thing to see somebody on a bike in E10.
I think, you know, we've been able to partner with for great sporting activities, all the way from athletics, which probably was the first sponsorship event we ever did, all the way into rugby. We've done football, boxing, wrestling, world sailing, camel derbies, goat derbies. I mean, the camel derby that we sponsored was in Maralal, and the whole point of it was to raise funds for a home called Shop in Maralal that takes care of children with disabilities. So they do some amazing work, and we've partnered with them even outside of the camel derby. But it was unique. First of all, it's in Maralal. It was all the way up there. It was in the early 2000s. We didn't even have a network in Maralal when we got there. We sponsored this event, and I think it's the following year that we, you know, put up our base station and turned it on. But it was a great way to connect with the community in a way that made sense for us to be able to say this is what the local community loves to do, and so we did the camel derby. And it was very interesting, even from a working perspective. You're like, so how do I put up a number on this camel? You're told, okay, you have to produce these, what you would do for an athlete, a running number with your logo and everything. Now imagine trying to convince a camel you need to do that for it. So it was very interesting. And yeah, so that's just the whole thing. It was very unique, but a very, you know, a very fulfilling because of the amounts we were able to raise for projects like Shop. But Goat Derby for me, I was just like, okay, this is interesting. So we sponsored given the cause. But then we got there, you do the usual, and then the goats are, this was my experience, the goats are lined up. It's hilarious. And then, you know, the guy, I can't remember whether he shot one of the kickoff guns, and then the goats decide what they're going to do. Some run, another one turns that way. The owner's like, you gotta get moving, you know, because everybody's got their goat and it's got to, but I mean, we've sponsored quite a big range. Kenya had the opportunity to, I think at that time, be the first African country to host the World Sailing Championship. I believe it was in 2005 in Kilifi. And so we were asked to come on board as a sponsor. It was great for our country, and so we did. We were one of the main sponsors for the event. It was unique in the sense that, you know, in our own unique way, for years we've had DAOs. You know, we do all sorts of sailing events, but this was a global event. It was a fantastic opportunity for Kenya to showcase her beauty and the ability of our people.
Tulikuwa na boti yetu ya mambo ya uvuvi, tukaingia kwenye Lamu Cultural Festival in the year 1988. So boti ile yetu iliweza kutupa ushindi. So ikanipatia motisha ya kwamba hata mimi nikimaliza masomo naona hii shughuli pia nijaribu kufanya. Pengine one day nitakuwa na miliki hoteli, nitakuwa na miliki majumba makubwa niweze kufanya hii shughuli.
The race started with two guys having a beer here and saying let's do a DAO race. Let's do a DAO race for New Year's Eve, and let's get a couple of DAOs and we can put some money down and get some crews and see what we do.
Lamu imekuwa ikifanya hizi competitions za mambo Cultural Festival, Maulidi Festival na New Year Festival ya mambo ya maboti. Kilifi hiyo shughuli ilikuwa hakuna kabisa. Hakuna mambo ya mashindano ya maboti Kilifi. So nikawaza nini nifanye hapa ndani yake. Nikaenda Kilifi Boatyard. Kilifi Boatyard kulikuwa na manager pale akiitwa Rain Faber. Tukaweza kukaa pamoja kuzungumza. in the year 2006 na yeye na bibi yake, so wakasema tutafikiria, tutakupatia majibu. Mwezi wa 6 mwaka 2007 bibi ya Fiber akasema, Shalo, ile wazo ulikuwa unafikiria sasa tunaweza, watatujaribu, lakini hizi funds tutatoa wapi? Dowries competition watu walifurahia kabisa, kwa sababu ilikuwa ile siku ikifika tunaona ni green tu imejaa Safaricom.
It's a fantastic spectacle when you see all those dhows coming down the creek.
Ziliwafurahisha jamii.
When we first started the dhow race, it started as just a small competition, and it evolved into something where both Safaricom and the boatyard were saying thank you to the community for allowing us to be here and interacting with them throughout the year. And there was an amazing feeling with all of those competitors, and lots of humour. And all the dhows were gathered up here, all jostled together. The beach was covered in spectators from Minarani and also on the other side from Kilifi. And there was an enormous community buzz about the whole thing.
Tukapata hata wageni kutoka Tanzania, boat kutoka Tanzania zilikuwa zimekuja kwa uvuvi, then hata wao pia wakashiriki. So it was a colorful, dhow race competition.
The challenges really are deciding who's the winner. Because, you know, the protests between each dhow have to be handled by the dhow captains themselves. The greatest moment was actually at the prize giving, when all the crews are assembled here in the boatyard, and there's such an amazing feeling of togetherness and community.
Tunajaribu kuhamasisha vijana ya kwamba wazidi kupenda mchezo kama huu, na mchezo wote ile, mambo ya sport ni muhimu kwa ulimwengu huu wetu leo, kwa sababu sport imekuwa kwanza ikileta urafiki wa nchi jirani kwa jirani, nchi za kimataifa, inaleta pia ajira ndani yake, zinawasaidia. Pia tukawahamasisha wao kutokana na kwamba wasiingie kwenye yale mambo ya mihadharati.
Sport continues to be a platform where the youth can see their future on, that an athlete or a sports person can come on and say, because of this, because of the investment I've made in this, my life is so much better. I think that for me would be the biggest, because when the individuals and the people participating in it can see the benefit, the ripple effect is, you know, an entire ecosystem benefits.